Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're doing something a bit different.
Ooh, I like different.
We're going deep, really deep.
Like Mariana Trench deep.
Almost. We're diving into French President Macron's trip to Ethiopia back in December 2017.
Macron and Ethiopia. Seems straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Diplomatic visit, shake some hands, sign some papers.
Exactly. But that's where things get interesting.
Oh, do tell.
We're going beyond the headlines and the photo ops.
I'm intrigued.
We're focusing on 3 specific places Macron visited: the Ethiopian National Palace, the Lalibela Rock-Hewn Churches, and the Adwa Victory Memorial.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. It's about the symbolism, isn't it?
You got it. Each location sends a very deliberate message about France's intentions toward Ethiopia.
It's like a diplomatic chess game, every move carefully planned.
Exactly. So first, stop the Ethiopian National Palace.
Okay, the palace. I remember reading that it was in pretty rough shape before Macron's visit.
Yeah, our sources say it was neglected for quite a while.
And France stepped in to help with the renovations, didn't they?
They did. In fact, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed specifically thanked France, expressed his heartfelt gratitude for their contribution.
Interesting. So it's not just about restoring a building.
Nope, it's much more than that.
It's about sending a message, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Ethiopia, we're here to support you, not just economically, but culturally too.
Right on. It's a subtle but powerful way for France to position itself as a key partner for Ethiopia.
It's almost like they're saying, we see your potential, we respect your heritage, and we want to be a part of your success story.
Way more impactful than just another trade deal.
Exactly. This is about building a relationship based on shared values and a deep appreciation for Ethiopia's cultural heritage.
All right, next stop, the Lalibela Rock-Hewn Churches.
Whoa, those churches are mind-blowing.
They're carved entirely from rock. Can you imagine the dedication that took?
It's hard to even fathom. It speaks to the incredible artistry and devotion of the people who built them.
Absolutely. And they're a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so preserving them is a huge responsibility.
And a huge challenge, I imagine.
Oh, definitely. They face all sorts of threats: weathering, erosion, even damage from the sheer number of visitors over the centuries.
Makes you realize just how fragile these ancient wonders really are.
It does, and it's why international collaboration is so crucial.
So this is where France comes in again.
Exactly. They're working with Ethiopia to ensure the preservation of these architectural treasures.
It's a recognition that these sites are not just important for Ethiopia, but for all of humanity.
It's about protecting a shared heritage, something that connects us all.
Makes sense. And, Prime Minister Abiy actually said something really interesting about Lalibela.
Oh, what was that?
He said, preserving Lalibela isn't just about the past. It's about inspiring the world with its beauty.
That's a beautiful sentiment. It's like he's saying, this is a gift from Ethiopia to the world.
Exactly. It's a message of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of human creativity.
Okay, ready for our final stop? This one's a bit more intense.
Intense. Lay it on me.
We're going to the Adwa Victory Memorial.
Odd. Now we're talking about some serious history.
Right. This commemorates Ethiopia's victory over Italian colonial forces in 1896.
A pivotal moment in African history, a symbol of resistance against colonial rule.
And guess what? President Macron laid a wreath at the memorial.
Whoa, hold on. That's a bold move for a French president. For sure. But he went there, and it was a deliberate choice.
It was a powerful message to Ethiopians and to the world, a way of acknowledging the injustices of the past and committing to a different kind of future.
Like he was saying, the past is the past, and we're here to build a new relationship based on mutual respect and understanding.
And it makes you think, what if he hadn't visited Adwa? What message would that have sent?
Oh, definitely the different one. It might have been seen as a missed opportunity, a failure to fully acknowledge the complexities of history and their impact on the present.
So by visiting these 3 very different locations, Macron touched on multiple facets of Ethiopia's identity, its heritage, its resilience, its aspirations.
And he did it in a way that felt genuine, respectful. That's key for building trust.
Okay, so we've explored the symbolism of these locations.
The silent language of diplomacy, right?
Yes. But Macron and Abiy didn't just pose for photos. They had a lot more to discuss.
Oh, I bet they did. Trade, investment, maybe even those tricky seaport issues Ethiopia faces.
All of that and more. So let's delve into those discussions in part 2 of our deep dive.
Can't wait. This is getting good. When we talk about Ethiopia's goals for the future, we can't ignore the elephant in the room.
Oh, and what elephant would that be?
The fact that Ethiopia is landlocked. no direct access to the sea.
Right. It's easy to forget that when you're looking at maps and such.
It's a huge hurdle for their economy, for trade and transportation.
Makes sense. If you're trying to grow your economy, being landlocked kind of puts a damper on things.
Absolutely. And this is where France's support could be a game changer.
Oh, how so?
Well, during their meeting, Macron made it clear France is committed to helping Ethiopia secure reliable access to seaports.
Interesting. But how can France actually help with that? It's not like they can conjure up a coastline.
True. It's more about diplomatic support, using their influence on the world stage.
I see. So like advocating for Ethiopia in international negotiations and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Helping to smooth things over with neighboring countries, maybe even providing technical expertise for infrastructure projects related to port access.
So it's less about direct action and more about clearing the path for Ethiopia, diplomatically speaking.
Exactly. It's about being a strong ally, a reliable partner.
Got it. And what about the other stuff they discussed? Beyond the seaports, I mean.
Well, there were some exciting developments in other areas too, especially when it comes to economic cooperation and education.
Oh, tell me more.
For starters, France promised to boost its investments in Ethiopia, focusing on big infrastructure projects and renewable energy.
Smart move. Ethiopia's economy is growing fast, and they need reliable energy to keep up.
Right. And France has tons of expertise in these areas. It's a win-win. France gets to invest in a promising market, and Ethiopia gets the support they need to develop.
It's like France is putting their money where their mouth is, showing they believe in Ethiopia's potential.
Exactly. And it's not just about building stuff, it's about investing in people too.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, they're expanding educational exchanges between the two countries, offering more scholarships for Ethiopian students to study in France, and supporting the development of universities within Ethiopia.
That's huge. Education is the key to unlocking any nation's potential.
Absolutely. It's not just about helping individuals, it's about investing in Ethiopia's future.
Creating those long-term connections, fostering understanding between cultures.
It's a ripple effect. These students go back to Ethiopia with new skills and perspectives, ready to contribute to their country's growth.
So we're seeing a multi-pronged approach from France. Investment, education, diplomatic support. It's quite comprehensive.
It is. It's a far cry from that old model of aid and dependence.
Yeah.
This feels like a genuine partnership.
A true collaboration, recognizing that both countries have something to gain.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, could this be a blueprint for a new kind of relationship between Europe and Africa?
That's a fascinating thought. If this partnership works, who knows what it could inspire?
Imagine other European countries adopting a similar approach, one based on mutual respect and shared interests.
It would be a welcome change from that old paternalistic way of doing things.
Definitely. And for Ethiopia, this could be a game changer. They have the potential to become a real powerhouse in Africa.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
It is. But it's important to remember diplomacy takes time. It's not an instant fix.
Right. Building trust, navigating complex issues. It's a long process.
Exactly. But it seems like Macron's visit was a big step in the right direction. He laid the foundation for a deeper, more meaningful relationship.
One that's mutually beneficial, not just one-sided.
Exactly. By focusing on things like education, infrastructure, diplomatic support, France is making a long-term commitment.
They're not just offering Band-Aid solutions, they're investing in Ethiopia's future.
Like planting seeds that'll take time to grow, but have the potential to bear amazing fruit.
That's a great analogy, and it really highlights the power of looking beyond the surface.
Right. It's not just about the headlines, it's about understanding the deeper currents at play.
And sometimes those currents lead to unexpected places. Who knew that a diplomatic visit could have such far-reaching implications?
It's a reminder that diplomacy is a complex and fascinating game, full of subtleties and surprises.
I'm loving this conversation. We've peeled back so many layers of this seemingly simple visit.
And uncovered a whole world of complexity and possibility. But we're not done yet. There's still one more layer to explore.
Oh, what's that?
The intangible stuff, the power of symbolism and what it reveals about this evolving relationship between France and Ethiopia.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Ready to dive deeper?
Absolutely. Let's unravel this final layer in part 3 of our exploration.
Okay, we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into Macron's Ethiopia trip.
And what a trip it's been. So many layers to unpack.
I know, right? And for this final part, we're focusing on something a bit more intangible.
The subtle stuff, the things you can't quite put your finger on.
Exactly. The power of symbolism.
And how it shapes perceptions, right?
Right. Like, remember Macron's gesture at the Adwa Victory Memorial? Laying that wreath?
Oh, yeah. That was a huge deal.
It was more than just a photo op. It was a deliberate act with so much meaning behind it.
For sure. You gotta remember, for Ethiopians, Adwa is about national pride.
It's a symbol of their strength, their resistance against colonialism.
Exactly. So for Macron, a French president, to acknowledge that victory,
He didn't shy away from it. He embraced it.
it was like he was saying, we see you, we respect your history, and we're ready to move forward together.
It was a gesture of humility, a solidarity.
Totally. And it really resonated with the Ethiopian people.
It made them feel seen, acknowledged.
Like their history mattered.
Oh,
That France wasn't trying to sweep it under the rug.
It makes you realize just how powerful symbolism can be in diplomacy, right? It's not just about the words you say, it's about the actions you take.
Absolutely. It's like a whole other language, a way of communicating without actually speaking.
And Macron's language was loud and clear. Respect, partnership, and a genuine desire to engage with Ethiopia on equal footing.
And that message was reinforced by his choice to visit those other two locations too, the National Palace and the Lalibela Churches.
Each stop was carefully chosen to build on that message, to show a different side of France's commitment to Ethiopia.
The palace renovation, for example, it showed their support for Ethiopia's cultural heritage.
And the Lalibela visit highlighted the importance of preserving those incredible rock-hewn churches.
It was like France was saying, we recognize the value of your culture and we want to help protect it.
So, through those three very deliberate choices, Macron managed to touch on so many aspects of Ethiopia's identity.
Their history, their culture, their resilience, their hopes for the future.
It was diplomatic symbolism at its finest.
A carefully crafted message delivered through actions rather than just words.
And it worked. The response to Macron's visit was overwhelmingly positive.
People felt like he genuinely cared, that this wasn't just another empty diplomatic gesture.
It felt like a turning point, a shift towards a more equal and mutually beneficial relationship between France and Ethiopia.
Exactly. It wasn't about France dictating terms or imposing its will. It was about partnership and collaboration.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways? What can we learn from all this?
Well, first and foremost, it shows us the importance of looking beyond the surface.
Right. Don't just read the headlines, dig deeper.
Exactly. Think about the motives, the symbolism, the unspoken messages behind the actions.
It's like being a detective, piecing together clues to understand the bigger picture.
And it also highlights the importance of history. Understanding the past is crucial for shaping the future.
Especially when it comes to acknowledging past wrongs and working towards reconciliation.
Exactly. And I think it also reminds us that diplomacy is always evolving. It's not static.
Relationships between nations are constantly shifting, influenced by all sorts of factors. And it all started with those three strategically chosen locations, each one telling a piece of the story.
It's amazing how much we can learn from paying attention to the details, to the symbolism behind the scenes.
It's been a fascinating journey exploring the depths of this diplomatic encounter.
And I hope our listeners have enjoyed diving deep with us.
I think we've all gained a deeper appreciation for the complexities of diplomacy and the power of symbolism in shaping international relations.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe some of you will be inspired to visit those incredible locations in Ethiopia yourselves one day.
Until then, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.